Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another fun-filled episode of Studio Alley. I'm your host, John.
And I'm David. I'm still doing that voice, I don't know why.
Yeah. Welcome, everybody. I hope you've been catching up on all our movie news minutes. We've been going crazy about Disney 23 convention. A lot of information coming out. Good, bad. You let us know. Indifferent. But this episode, it's time. It's review time, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for our reviews. Well, I like to say what we'd like to do a lot of times, not always, but sometimes. We'll see a movie and then we'll sit on it for a week. Sometimes. Yeah. Not always, but sometimes.
That way everyone can see the movie and.
Yeah. Plus, sometimes you think you like a movie, and then the more you think about it, you're like, wow, now I don't like the movie. So we don't like to always rush out right away. So we'll sit on it for maybe hours or maybe even a week before we do a review. So that's why this week you're finally going to get our review of Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Yes. Which we'll review. And then we'll get into spoilers, too, a little later.
Yeah.
So we'll let you know when to cut it off.
Yeah. But we'll also review, David went to go see, on a date, or just, like, with your buddy?
It was a date.
It was a man date?
But, disappointingly, we couldn't lift up the armrest.
Oh,
so Josh and I could not snuggles.
Oh, it's a shame.
Movie theaters are a little cold. They're a little cold.
Yeah.
But no, it's not a date. But we did see War for the Planet of the Apes.
Okay. So, which would you like to tackle first, David? What should we hit them with first?
I think we should talk about Spider-Man.
Let's talk about Spider-Man. Let's do this. Do. I don't know where that came from.
That was the new Spider-Man theme song?
Yeah.
Do, Spider-Man theme song.
I just want to do the nerd list now. I just want to make Spider-Man with Thor.
So good.
Oh, hello. Don't you want to see Spider-Man with me?
Ugh.
Okay, so give me a second. I'm bringing it up.
That's literally my response. Ugh, Spider-Man.
Right. Okay, so Spider-Man is breaking records like crazy, David.
Breaking records?
No.
It's not making as. It's not. Didn't have a. It was the second highest opening weekend for Spider-Man. Number one is what? Which Spider-Man movie?
The Andrew Garfield one.
No, that was one of the weaker ones.
Oh, it was part 2 actually of Tobey Maguire.
Part 3.
Get the frack out of here, serious?
Because think about it, we had 2 good Spider-Man movies. People were really pumped for the third one. It was gonna have Venom in it, and then nobody knew it was gonna be shit, and they all went and saw it that weekend. Remember how difficult it was to get tickets?
Oh yeah.
Because when it's funny is when people talk about being horribly disappointed in films, like really bad, they always talk about Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. They talk about Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
My number 1 most disappointing film of all time in seeing in theaters was Spider-Man 3.
Wow, really?
I think that movie's abysmal.
It is abysmal. Don't get me wrong.
It's really bad.
I was not excited about that movie at all, though. So I didn't go. So you were devastated because you're a big Spider-Man fan too.
Yeah, because I'm a huge Spider-Man fan, and it was also one of those things. And I also felt stupid because I saw the trailers and I was like, I'm not really feeling this, guys. These trailers aren't looking very good.
Yeah.
And I think it just Topher Grace's Eddie Brock seems weird. Sandman's kind of a dumb character.
Yeah, it's really.
I don't like the design for the black costume. I love the black costume in the comic books. That Spider-Man 3 black costume is garbage. So I was like, what is going on?
You didn't like it? I thought
they just made it black. What?
Well, yeah, it's not.
Why isn't it the black suit? Make it the black suit. That black suit's amazing. Whatever.
Okay.
But I went and saw it and I was like, you know what? Everyone's saying it's good because it got good reviews. People don't remember that, but Spider-Man 3 got good reviews.
Did it really?
It did, initially. Because everyone was excited, people get wrapped up in the moment, and everyone saw it, and I went, wow, that was a steaming pile of shit.
Yeah.
And everyone else was like,
which goes back to why sometimes we wait now a week. We let it stew for a minute.
Yeah. And I was like, I thought this was shit. And I was like, let me let it sink in even more. Maybe my opinion will change on it. And I was like, no, I loathe this film. It's probably one of the films I hate the most.
Yeah.
Which bugs the crap out of me so much, and I think I mentioned this before, is that people keep bringing up Peter Parker dancing.
Yeah.
People don't bring up the fact that he punches Mary Jane. And I was like, that says something about how sexist comic book nerds are, is they completely, like, It's fine. He punched his girlfriend,
Yeah.
but him dancing like a little emo kid, that is unforgivable. I'm like, no, he punched Mary Jane. That's the worst.
Yeah.
The movie sucks. The movie from start to finish is bad.
Yeah. So now we get the third incarnation of Spider-Man, starring Tom Holland.
Tom Holland, introduced in Civil War,
which was an amazing introduction.
Yeah.
People
got people excited for Spider-Man.
Yeah. People got really excited when they saw Marissa Tomei was his aunt too. That was really exciting.
I get excited for Marissa Tomei. You don't even have to put her in a movie.
Yeah. So,
Did you see the skateboard of her?
I'm sorry. What?
There's you could if you watch Conan,
Right.
in an interview with Conan, she gave Conan a present, and it's a skateboard, or her as a skateboard. Like the deck is Marissa Tomei in a sports bra, and you skateboard on Marissa Tomei's body. Apparently, it was this skateboarding company made one of her.
Is it a shape of her, or is it a picture
shape of her? So it's a very curvy.
Okay.
And it's her. It's a photo of her that they turned into a board. So. Kind of want that skateboard. I don't know if I want the skateboard. I just want the Marissa Tomei. I don't know.
Right.
That's the confusing thing.
Okay, so
Spider-Man: Homecoming, because you know this is gonna be fun. This is gonna be fun.
All right. Your expectations in the movie when you went in?
Okay, I hated. I think we talked about this. I hated all the trailers for Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Okay,
I thought they were really bad. I thought all of them looked really stupid. But the reviews came out.
Yeah.
And they were all glowing. They're like, "This is the best Spider-Man since Spider-Man 2." That's how I read.
Which is so insulting to support Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone and stuff that people don't even talk about that movie. They never even talk about it.
There's a lot of great, and I'll admit, I think I'll ask you this question too. I think the most consistently best Spider-Man film, where it kind of does the best of like balancing the origin, or balancing who Peter Parker is, balancing what Spider-Man can do, the action sequences, having a really good villain. I think the best is the first Spider-Man film.
Okay.
But I also think there is no perfect Spider-Man film. I think the other film, no one wants to admit anything good, but I thought the romance in Spider-Man, the Amazing Spider-Man films was better.
I totally agree with that. Yep.
I think Andrew Garfield is a better is a better Tobey Maguire. He's a better Peter Parker and a better Spider-Man than Tobey Maguire. It's just, I think the Tobey Maguire films had a more cohesive plot.
Okay,
they weren't so scatterbrained as Amazing Spider-Man 2. I cared emotionally to what was going on in Amazing Spider-Man a lot, in the first one and the second one. The problem is, it was real stupid of them to do a reboot and do really, they should have just taken Andrew Garfield and just continued doing Spider-Man films. And maybe just wrote Mary Jane out and then have him develop a relationship with Mary Jane, or with Emma Stone's character, Gwen Stacy.
That would have made more sense, yeah.
And then you could do the whole lizard fight. You could have done other Electro and things like that. It's just the reboot idea was really clumsy. So.
Yeah. So, all right. So my expectations.
No, what's your favorite Spider-Man film?
It's really hard to say because I'm not a huge Spider-Man fan.
Because are you in the same boat as me? Is like each of them have elements you like.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we're the same.
Yeah. It's hard for me to say. Yeah, it's hard for me to say which one's my favorite. I really enjoyed the Andrew Garfield ones.
Me too.
I enjoyed.
I like them a lot.
I even enjoyed the second one. People hated.
People hate that one.
I hate Jamie Foxx.
I think, and I've said this on Twitter: is every Spider-Man film, even this one, there's something major in each film that I hate, just flat out hate. In this one, in the first one, it was I really hate Tobey Maguire's face.
Right.
But he can't do anything about that, so I can't really strike the movie.
Right.
That was a joke, but I do hate Tobey Maguire's face. But the main thing with the first one is I really hated Mary Jane is just a really unlikable character.
She really is. I
and
never
then
like her.
Superficially, the Green Goblin costume is awful. It's an awful design. The action scenes are cool. Dafoe nails it. He does a great job as Norman Osborn and the Green Goblin. His death is perfect.
Yeah.
Really great. But yeah, Mary Jane's awful. Spider-Man 2, the action scenes are phenomenal. I think this is the best action scenes for Spider-Man are actually in Spider-Man 2. The train sequence fight is great. I like the bank fight a lot too. Problem with that movie is Doc Ock is kind of dumb.
Yeah.
Remember
when it first came out, people were like, "It's so cool, Doc Ock." Yeah, they were like, "It's amazing."
People are still about that. Like you even reading people's reviews, they're still like, "Spider-Man 2, it is a fucking masterpiece." I'm like, do you guys forget that Peter Parker loses powers just because of confidence.
Yeah.
Like literally, he doesn't have powers because I just don't want to do this anymore. So my powers are gone. That's how it works.
Yeah.
And okay, and if you're a nerd who's like, that happened in the comic book, just because it was in the comic books doesn't make it freaking work.
You know what else happened in the comic books? He had a bunch of clones.
Yeah, he had a bunch of clones.
You know what else happened in the comics? He had 6 arms.
Yeah, he had 6 arms.
Yeah.
He also fought a vampire.
Yeah.
And it was a major character.
Yeah.
And his parents were SHIELD agents that were killed by.
You know what else
Hitler.
happened? His wife sold her soul to the devil.
Yeah, the devil. So they could get a divorce.
So all those are really cool storylines
yeah,
too.
So if you like, that's what happened in the comic books, you shut your face.
You know what else they brought to life in the comics that happened in the movie? Was Venom.
Yeah.
That's all I gotta say. Right? You guys wanted your effing Venom, you got your Venom, and it sucked. All right, so shut the fuck up, fans.
Yeah, that was my main thing with Spider-Man 2 is the writing of Doc Ock was kind of dumb, and the losing his powers for confident or his not being happy.
Yeah.
That was really stupid.
Yeah.
Spider-Man 3, start to finish is bad. Amazing Spider-Man 1. The whole movie's the origin again, and I'm like, we kind of already got the origin. It was already pretty good.
Yeah.
I still like Actually, I really like the action sequence with the lizard at the high school.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that felt very Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Emma Stone's great. Andrew Garfield's great too.
Yeah.
Sally Field's really good as Aunt May.
She is actually. A lot of people forget how good she is. She's really good.
She's really good. Amazing Spider-Man 2. Electro's god awful. Everything with Electro is terrible.
Yeah.
I
I hate the Green Goblin too. I'm gonna be honest.
the design of the Green Goblin's awful. I like Dane DeHaan.
Right, but I just think it was too soon to throw him in the in the movie too for no reason. All of a sudden he shows up. I'm like, what?
Maybe if you're gonna do Electro, maybe have Electro kill Gwen Stacy.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Everything Electro is awful. But I thought Gwen Stacy's death was great. Everything else, Gwen and Peter, I thought was perfect. And then we get to this movie.
Yeah. All right. So my expectations of this one was because I'm not a huge Spider-Man fan.
Not a Spider-Man fan.
And all the Spider movies, I enjoyed them, most of them.
I think you've gone on record on the internet saying, fuck Spider-Man, fuck him up, his stupid asshole.
I haven't actually gone that far, but I'm not a huge fan, but I'm like, I get it, and it's fun. I enjoy most of the movies.
I'm pretty sure on Recovering Sidekicks you have said, what a whiny bitch.
Yeah, so, I have fun in the movies. I enjoy the Spider-Man movies. I'm just not a big fan. So, I mean, they're enjoyable to me, but, so going to this movie, after watching Civil War, and I enjoyed it in Civil War, I was kind of like, my excitement was still kind of like, oh, a Spider-Man movie. Let's check it out. But I was with you, just for the trailers, I thought, man, there's going to be too much Iron Man in this.
Too much Iron Man in this goddamn movie.
Yeah, and I thought, he already took over freaking Captain America movies. We couldn't even get through Captain America movies without Iron Man. Now he's going to be in
the only reason you could forgive Tony Stark being in a Captain America movie is that Captain America beat the shit out of him.
Yeah, exactly. So, I didn't have, a high expectation of it. I was just like, I hope it's just good. So, we go to the movie now. We go to see it. Here we go. First off, how was Tom Holland in the full movie now? We saw him for a moment in Civil War. He's pretty good in Civil War. How did you like him in the entire movie, though, for a full movie? Oh, whoa, that's rough. What does that mean?
Okay, so I think Tom Holland's good. He's fun. He's energetic as Peter. Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, both of them played Peter as kind of tragic and sad, and it really sucks being Spider-Man. And he brings a lot of fun to being Spider-Man.
Right.
Which is great. It felt new and fresh. But I felt like, range-wise, he pretty much just kind of did the same thing he did in Civil War. Where instead of the 2 scenes he was in Civil War, I just got 2 hours of it. Which, I don't see the transition of a character from, oh, hey, I lost my uncle. Not saying I have to get the origin again.
Right.
But I'm saying like feeling that the weight of being a hero. You don't feel a lot of changes with his character. I think he's good. For everyone going, he's the best Spider-Man ever. I'd be like, he looks like a teenager from high school playing Peter Parker. That's cool. And I hope in future films we could see more Peter Parker having more dilemmas. The biggest strain I see him in this film is the biggest emotional impact I have in this film, not that I really care about what's going on in this movie at all, is, not really a spoiler, but there's a sequence in the film, because it's in every Spider-Man movie, where Spider-Man has to pick up something really heavy that's way too heavy for him to pick up, but he has to pick it up.
Yeah.
and that scene's really good. But I don't know. I don't get a lot of emotional stuff because you don't see it.
Yeah.
You don't see him really fall in love with somebody.
Right.
He's good. He's really good. There's a tense scene with him and the Vulture, which is great. But I don't know. I don't get a lot. I don't get a lot from him.
I will agree with you. I don't think there's a lot of emotional. There's nothing emotional.
Yeah, there's no
for him,
emotional heft in
So,
this.
so I'll agree with that. But I think he does pretty good because I think he really does act like a teenage kid.
Yeah.
With powers. I mean, I'm trying to avoid spoilers right now, but just
Yeah,
the beginning of the movie when he's going over the whole situation of what happened in Civil War.
Oh yeah.
He's like a kid. He's like, oh my god, it's so and so. Oh my god, that's me right there. Oh my god, that's Captain America. I mean, he's jumping off the walls. And throughout the movie, you see him whenever he does something cool. He's like, even he's amazed by what he did. He's like,
Yeah.
oh. So I think he's very believable as a kid who has to who happens to have superpowers.
Yeah.
I think he's very good. I think
yeah.
he does a
I
pretty
think he's
good job.
very good. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's good in it.
And really, the gripes I had, it's. I'm not saying that. Oh, I don't think Tom Holland has the range. I think he's got the range.
Right.
And the little glimpses you have of him giving a little bit more weight or having meatier scenes
Right.
as Peter, I feel like he wasn't taken advantage of.
Yeah. Well, I think they really just.
It seemed like this is fun
like this is-
Spider-Man.
Yeah, well,
not
it seems
not
like this is fun
sad.
Spider-Man because it's like we're gonna do the origin without doing the origin.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know.
Yeah.
It's like this is our introduction to Spider-Man. So
Let's
we gotta
do
the origin,
the origin of Spider-Man, but not give any emotional weight to it. Yeah.
Yeah,
It works.
you know what I mean.
Makes
So
total
yeah,
sense.
so it's almost like
That's
that's basically what it seemed like. All right, so how was Michael Keaton as the Vulture?
So mild spoiler into my opinion of this film. I thought this film was very mediocre.
Okay.
I think it's a 3-star out of 5-star kind of film.
Mm.
I think it's vanilla. It is a turkey sandwich without any extra ingredients, except for Michael Keaton. This is the reason why I'd probably give. This is probably why I'll buy this movie on Blu-ray. Otherwise, if Michael Keaton wasn't in this film, this would be the first Marvel film where I'm buying just because I'm a completionist, not because I really want it.
Right.
But Michael Keaton, I was worried about this announcement, I'll be honest, when they announced Michael Keaton to play the Vulture. Not because I think Michael Keaton's a bad actor, but I felt like after Birdman, I felt Michael, because that movie makes fun of superhero films pretty hard. Like,
Yeah.
they're like, that's not art at all.
Okay.
So Michael Keaton, to take this role, I was like, oh, he's doing this for the check, and he's just gonna kind of phone this in. They're just gonna kind of use his name because he's back in the limelight again because of Birdman and what was the one that won the Best Picture? Spotlight.
Spotlight. Yeah.
Because he's back in the spotlight again.
Yeah.
Haha, pun. I thought he was gonna phone it in. Motherfucker does not phone it in. He came in. He was like, I'm gonna cash this check. I'm gonna make sure I earn this shit.
Yeah.
And I think he kind of totally flat out steals this movie, like how he steals alien technology. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think Michael Keaton was amazing in this film. He comes across as intimidating without needing the costume to be intimidating.
Yes.
That's the thing. I really
Yes.
think he seems like he'd be a nice guy. Like when you're introduced to his character, he's a guy who cares about his job. He cares about
Yeah.
the people who work for him.
He
comes
is
across as a nice guy.
Walter White in Marvel.
Yeah,
Like he
yeah.
is totally
But he
Heisenberg.
pushed it back in the corner,
Yeah.
and he's like, I got a family to take care of and stuff.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, I think Michael Keaton is amazing in it. He's really good.
And very much like Walter White, he's like, oh, I'm doing this for my family, but a part of him is like, no, fuck the rich people, fuck Tony Stark.
Yeah.
I got to get mine because they effed with me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's really cool. He's really
Yeah.
compelling. And honestly, throughout the film, I felt his motivation I thought was stronger than Peter. So when Spider Fist to Vulture Claw came down, I was like, I hope you kick Spider-Man's ass and get away with it,
Yeah.
Adrian Toomes.
Yeah, I kind of, you actually, like, in other movies, they try to get you to sympathize with the villain for a certain reason, right?
Yeah.
And most of them are kind of not that great reasons. Like,
Yeah.
I get it. Yeah.
Like Spider-Man 3. My mom's sick, so you shot my uncle, but my mom... Oh, not his,
No,
it was
his
his mom's
daughter,
daughter. He's
yeah.
like, my daughter was real sick, so you shot my uncle and stole his car, but you don't understand, Peter. She's really sick.
Yeah.
Screw
so-
you, buddy. There's a
Right.
lot of people that are sick. You don't have to murder anybody.
Right. But Michael Keaton's character, you sympathize because he's not really doing a lot of really horrible things. He's not doing something that's really god awful.
He's not the Green Goblin. He's not throwing children off bridges.
I'm not killing I'm not killing a bunch of innocent people just for the hell of it. No. So you kind of sympathize with him. So yeah, you kind of almost root for him, like you said.
I do. I honestly, I know you shouldn't, but I root for him.
Right.
It's just like the other great Marvel villain is Wilson Fisk.
Yeah.
I thought on Daredevil, I was like, by the end of Daredevil, I was like, I like Matt Murdock, and I like Wilson Fisk, so I hope Wilson Fisk gets away. I was like, I know he's not a good dude, but I'm compelled by him, and I hope he gets away with this.
All right. Then you've got Ned Leeds.
Ned Leeds,
played by Jacob Batalon.
Yeah, which is great because I always wanted Ned Leeds to be in the movies because I love the Ned Leeds in the comic books. You know, married to Betty Brant.
Yep.
Respected journalist on the Daily Bugle.
Yes.
Sometimes friends with Peter, but they kind of clash because he is married to Peter's ex-girlfriend.
Right.
Revealed to be the Hobgoblin.
Yes.
And oh no, he's a high school kid. He's a Jonah Hill of the film.
Yeah. This is not your friendly neighborhood
Ned Leeds.
Yeah. This is
that aside, I think the actor playing Ned Leeds and playing this character that happens at the name of Ned Leeds.
Yeah.
I think he's really fun. I really like him in this film.
Yeah.
I think he gets too much screen time.
Yeah, he does.
You would think some of the screen time would maybe go to the love interest, but you don't. It goes all to Ned, which I was like...
They're like bro. They got a bromance going.
Yeah, they got a little bromance going.
Yeah, so.
But to be honest, when we get to the love interest, I don't know who she is at all.
Oh, yeah.
Other than she's really attractive.
Yeah, I like Mr. Jacob Batalon. I like him. I think he's pretty funny. Yeah, I think he's funny. Yeah, he definitely felt very high schoolish too.
Yeah,
which I thought
I really like the hat joke.
Yeah.
He's at the party. He's like, the hat's not working. I was like, I know that feeling when you're at a party and you're like, I'm gonna go with a ridiculous fashion accessory to make me interesting.
Yeah,
do that all the time.
So I thought he's good. He's a very ground the main character kind of in his action. He's very good at that. Speaking of love interest, of course, there's Laura Harrier plays Liz.
Yes, Liz.
Yes.
Which made me happy because you're a Spider-Man fanatic.
Right.
The first love interest for Peter was Liz Allen.
Oh, a little side note to go back for a second though. Not to interrupt you, but I think my personal opinion is I think they named him Ned Leeds not for any future plans. I think they did it just
to throw a name in.
Yeah, and just for Spider-Man fans.
The reason why they named Ned Leeds is because this is why I don't like them doing this. But instead of basing it off the comic books, they based Ned Leeds off of how Ned Leeds is depicted in the cartoon Spectacular Spider-Man, where he is an Asian guy and he is in high school.
Oh.
I think, but they changed his name to Ned Lee instead of Ned Leeds.
Because there's not a lot of Asian guys named Ned
Leeds. Yeah. It's a little weird. But and I get that, but it's one of those things where like don't base things off of alternate things because you just kind of get a watered down version of what the original was.
Right.
That's why I hate the Ultimate Comics.
Yeah. So all right. So anyway, I go back. We have Laura Harrier as Liz. I like her. She's a very pretty girl.
Yeah. Laura Harrier's character Liz she looks good in a short skirt.
Yes, she does. That
is her character.
Yeah. Yeah, that's basically it. Well, she's the head of the debate team.
Oh, also, she can rock a one-piece bathing suit.
Okay, that too, yeah. Yeah, there's not a whole lot for her to do in this. She's just love interest. But
why does Peter like her? Because she's the hot senior girl. That's it.
Yeah, I'm a little confused. You're right about what you said, though. There's not a lot of screen time between them, of him and her. It's mostly about the romance. So... And the suit. We'll get into that in a minute here, too.
Yeah.
But yeah, and there's a lot of time on the suit. But yeah, unfortunately, we don't get a lot with her, and it doesn't look like she's coming back. Just spoil it. You know what I mean? And it's kind of... It's like a one-time thing.
I was like, wow, that sucks. And she seems like a really good actress, and...
Right, yeah.
She has to emote later in the film, but I was like, wow, okay, now your character's interesting, and you're not going to do anything with her?
I just think, too, though, one of the things that bothered me, though, about her character, the way wrote characters, she's very understanding for a high school girl. When have you ever met high school girls that understanding and that,
Also, it's kind of weird to see a senior hooking
dating
up.
a junior.
15-year-old.
What is he?
He's a
freshman.
sophomore.
He's a sophomore.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So. All right. So.
Also, do you know that? Oh, it's so creepy. We're perving on a high school. She's 27. So.
Yeah.
Little. Yeah.
So. All right. Then you have Marissa Tomei. Don't forget. Plays.
I will not.
Aunt May. A new take on Aunt May.
Yeah, she's a young hot Aunt May.
How do you feel about that, though?
About her being cast as Aunt May?
Yeah, I mean, does it bother you that she's a younger Aunt May or no?
Oh no, well, cast Marissa Tomei anything, it's fine. But I think it's cool. That makes sense. Age appropriate Aunt May.
Right.
You know, she isn't her grandmother. She's Aunt May.
Which is always weird. Yeah.
It was kind of weird in the comic books.
They're so old. Like, how old was the freaking parents, man?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
I guess the parents were really, really young, and their parents were, or their older siblings were really, really old. I don't know.
Yeah.
Weird. So I thought that was cool. I was like, if you're gonna hire Aunt May, who is hire Marissa Tomei, her name rhymes with her name. It's weird. Marissa Tomei and Aunt May.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But I thought she's an Oscar-winning actress, and she's also a really good actress. If you watch her in Ides of March,
well, so is Sally Field.
And Sally Field as well. And Sally Field had some great scenes in Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2, specifically 2. I was like, you're gonna do something really fun and interesting with Aunt May. They do not.
They don't. That is a shame. I agree with you.
There's one sequence I thought was really light and was really sweet. Was when she was showing how to tie a tie.
Yeah.
It was like a montage.
Yeah.
And it was just a montage, and I was like, oh, this seems like this should be. This is good. This is really good. I wish I got more scenes of this.
You're right. It goes back to what you said. There's the emotion. There's
no
emotional scene.
Maybe if you cut some scenes with Ned and gave it to Marissa Tomei.
Well, it seems like you said, they really went for the jokes instead of the emotions in this.
Yeah.
They really tried for jokes. And I think you're right. I think that we really missed the connection between Aunt May and...
Yeah.
I mean, there's one scene where they're at dinner together, remember? And she's talking his head off, and he's kind of, like, drifting off, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But I'm like, it just wasn't enough to me to show that she really cared.
The most weight Aunt May gets in this film at all is actually a scene that is a scene about her, but she's not doing anything in it. She's in the background when Ned's like, does May know about you being Spider-Man? He's like, no, everything she's been through lately. Yeah. I don't want her to know. I was like, okay, well that's a reference to Ben dying. Yeah. That's cool, but it would have been nice, like you would have seen like there's that really. Fuck, man, this is what pisses me off is that people shit on Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man 2. But there's that great sequence where she's talking about where he sees Aunt May moving Uncle Ben's stuff. Yeah. And he's like, you're getting rid of his stuff? And she's like, no, I'm not getting rid of it. I don't have the heart to get rid of it. Yeah. I'm just packing it up and putting it someplace better. And I'm like, that's so beautiful. Like, what it's saying about grief and stuff like that. Do you get a moment?
Great connection between them.
Yeah, because he just lost Gwen. And
yeah, so it's great.
Her flat out telling him, like, you're not going to get over this.
Right.
You're going to have to learn to live with this.
Yeah.
And I was like, that is a great scene. And I don't get anything. Every scene with Aunt May is particularly to go, Marissa Tomei sure is hot. Yeah. And I'm like, I know Marissa Tomei is hot. I have eyeballs. I've also seen her in movies. I've seen Before the Devil Knows You're Dead. Yeah. I don't need to be told that.
Again, it goes back to the jokes. They really wanted to show jokes in this one.
A YouTube movie critic pointed out this, and I was like, I completely agree. He said, why does everyone have to point out that Aunt May's hot? It's not like everybody in the movie universe knows that Aunt May's supposed to be old and not hot. Right. It's like everybody got a memo and like, hey, Aunt May's supposed to be old, but instead it's Marissa Tomei. She's really hot. I was like, what is the point of that?
Can I just mention one thing though? She is really hot, but I can't stand the mom jeans.
You don't like the mom jeans?
The mom pants, it's like all the way up to her stomach. I can't stand those pants. But okay, what about Zendaya? As Michelle.
As
the strange character known as Michelle.
Michelle Jones, who is not playing Mary Jane that they said 100 times.
Yeah, she's not Mary Jane. She's Michelle.
She is playing Michelle.
Which is basically, to me, let me just say, to me was a very bipolar character.
Oh, yeah.
By saying that, I mean, she says she sits by herself, she doesn't have any friends, and all this, but she's constantly hanging around a bunch of people, and then she's part of the debate team. Which made no sense to me. I didn't understand.
No, I do. She does feel like a teenage girl.
Right.
But she also feels like those teenage girls I freaking hated.
Yeah.
and I'm supposed to like you. Like her non sequitur jokes are funny,
Mm.
but I'm like they're also that like, haha, God I hate you. Like it was that. It was
she's got that attitude where she cracks a joke, but it's like, wow, you're really judgmental.
yeah.
Like really, you know
I'm
what
like
I mean?
I'm like I don't like you.
Yeah, I don't understand why I'm.
Because the only reason I liked it, I was like, I like it because she is one of those characters one of those people you would meet in high school,
Right.
and you hate them. But that's what kind of makes it funny is like, oh, I hate you because
Yeah.
you're in this, like you're real. You feel like a real teenage girl.
Right.
You know, I don't know if you saw this on Twitter. I said, you know who her name should have been?
Hmm.
She should have been Deborah Whitman.
Who's
In
that?
the comic books, Deborah Whitman was a girl that liked Peter in college, and she was a nerdy girl. I was like, that'd have been great. You should have made her Deborah Whitman. We haven't had Deborah Whitman in the movies yet. We didn't get Liz Allen. We got Liz Allen. We could have Deborah Whitman in here. That's great. But they're like, no, we'll create a new character named Michelle Jones, who has a certain initials that maybe will come back later.
Right.
Like, no, just make her Deborah Whitman. Like, play with that, or make her Mary Jane.
Right.
But yeah, it's not. I think she's fine in the role. I don't like her character.
I was gonna say something. I lost my train of thought. Keep going. What else do you have to say about that? Anything else? I think she's okay in the film.
Where's Zendaya's last name? Did she lose it? Is it gone?
Excuse me. She's like Cher, and
Because it really helped Cher's career.
she just goes by one name, Zendaya.
I really don't like that. I don't know. It feels very arrogant.
I think she's okay in the film.
Yeah, she's good.
Yeah, she's good. No,
I don't like her character. I like she makes me laugh, but I also hate you.
Yeah, I don't. That's the thing with me too. And then we've got Flash Thompson,
Played by Zero.
played by Tony Revolori or something like that. Yeah, from Zero. Yeah, I like him in that. Yeah. That's what I always remember him as. He's older now, but I'll still remember him as Zero.
Yeah.
I wanted him to constantly. I wanted him to walk up on Peter when he's talking to Liz and just tell her, "Don't flirt with her."
Yeah. Don't flirt with her.
If you don't know, watch him in Grand Budapest Hotel. It's an amazing movie.
I really like that movie a lot, and I watched it finally for a second. It's a great movie.
Yeah.
But it's a difficult movie to watch.
It is. Yeah.
Especially the ending. But I was like, man, this movie is really good. It's
Yeah.
really good. I still love Moonrise Kingdom more, but
Yeah.
Grand Budapest Hotel.
But how did you like him as Flash?
He's okay.
Yeah, he's all right. I mean,
This is one of those things where very much like Zendaya. This is very dividing up fans.
right.
Where like some people thought like, oh well, that's what modern bullies are.
Yeah.
They're just douchebags.
Right.
They're not jocks. They're not beating you up.
Right.
But
They're just making comments all the time.
Yeah.
They walk by and say something.
Yeah, what a dick. But
Yeah.
I was like, it is one of those things like I don't really get any depth with this character.
No,
you
you
know,
don't-
not
no.
that you have
no
to.
backstory or anything.
Yeah.
So.
I thought they handled Flash Thompson better in Amazing Spider-Man 1, but nobody wants to talk about good things in that movie. I just felt like I was like he gets a comeuppance in this movie that's fun.
Right.
But I don't know.
Not really. I don't think he got a big comeuppance.
It's not huge.
Something happens to him, but I'm like,
yeah, it's not quite enough. But I don't know. He's okay.
I just had a problem.
I
with the first one. I had a problem in the Tobey Maguire one.
Because there's a 30-year-old in high school.
Well, that too, but I don't like the fight scene
Deathstroke?
where he's got to go. He just looks goofy when he's gonna fight. It just I don't know what.
Me breaking your face, that's the
Yeah, I don't
accident.
know.
But he does deliver the best line in Spider-Man 1.
What's that?
When Mary Jane breaks up with him, and he just
yeah.
goes, you know what? Whatever.
Yeah.
People
No,
wanted
so-
him to play Deathstroke.
Yeah,
Shut up, internet.
He was
Come on.
okay. So yeah, Tony is okay
Yeah.
as Flash. A little, I don't want to say surprise, but a little. I don't know what the term I'm looking for, but Donald Glover's in the film.
Oh yeah.
He has a small role in there. I enjoyed his role. To be honest with you, I thought he was good in his role, better than, no offense, than some of the other side characters.
Oh yeah, he's great.
You know,
yeah.
he's got a tiny little role.
And
but
I don't know how much of that scene was written or how much he ad-libbed, but I thought it was hilarious. And he's not doing the regular Donald Glover shtick.
Yeah.
He's kind of just like this kind of annoyed criminal.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right. So that's the cast. Oh, I know what I was gonna say. When we were talking about, you were talking about Zendaya and
Zendaya!
and all that stuff. I was gonna say, well, it could have been worse. We could have had him we could have thrown in a girl that's like from Russia or something for no reason whatsoever and build up a whole thing that she likes him and builds him a cake and stuff, and then we just drop it. Like, there's no point to it. Like, what was the point of this scene?
Drop it. It's okay, because if she got any closer in Spider-Man 3, he might have punched her in the face.
Right. So I never understood that whole scene. Like, what were they building up to? And then
God, yeah, that was... What the hell was that?
I have no idea.
People don't remember the bad things.
She doesn't remember. She feeds him.
Yeah.
Like, what is going on here?
And, like, he finishes the cake, and he's like, that was a good cake. And he's like, maybe I'm going to be Spider-Man again. I'm like, what the fuck? What is going on in this movie?
With his
people
stupid
need to
face
shut up.
and his big eyes going, that was a good cake.
You know what? We've been bagging on Spider-Man 2 a lot. You know what scene I really, really love in Spider-Man 2?
Right.
And it seems stupid, but it's a great scene, I think, is the scene where, right after a really bad scene, there's that scene where the wall falls and it almost hits Mary Jane. And, and you see Tobey Maguire's stupid yell face. Yeah. And he runs over towards her, and he catches the building from falling on her. And they look at each other, and he just goes, hey. And she's, hey. I thought that scene was great. Because it was just, it felt real, and I was like, that's what people would do. It's just like, hey, hey. I was like, that was great. Yeah. But not the cake eating scene.
All right,
I forgot all about that. I am so hung up on that. What is up with the eating stuff? Remember when James Franco was eating the pie?
Yeah.
How's the pie? So good. What is up with the cake and dessert?
I don't know. All right, so overall, you're disappointed with this film.
This was the first Marvel film I was disappointed.
You're actually disappointed. I enjoyed the film.
Yeah, I don't think it's bad.
I think we've talked about this before. I think you're disappointed in this film. Like, I was disappointed in Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
It's very reversed.
Yeah, I was so disappointed in Guardions of the Galaxy. People talk about how great it was.
Because you're like, I think I saw a different movie. And I left the theater and I was like, I saw a different movie.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. There's always one. So there's a disappointment. So your biggest problem was the suits, right?
Let's get like I said, there's always some big part of the movie, of every Spider-Man movie that I hate.
Right.
Not just like dislike.
Right.
Apparently, there's the cake scene in Spider-Man 2. I just totally forgot. But no, this whole movie revolves around Spider-Man and his suit.
Yeah.
The suit that he gets from Tony Stark.
Yes.
Which, that's not part of the comic. Like, he gets his suit in the comic books. He gets the Iron Spider suit. But okay, I've always hated this. People are really always hung up on this. And I'm not a person who actively defends the Tobey Maguire films. But everyone jumps on this case like, what is in the original Spider-Man movie, how does a nerdy high school kid get such an elaborate Spider-Man costume? That gets brought up all the time.
Okay. And
my response is, a genetically altered spider bit him and he gets superpowers. And you're like, where the fuck did he get a costume? This is unbelievable. I'm like, shut up. Shut up, guys. You need to let things go. In the comic books, I always took it that he didn't make the suit. He was a television performer. And so in television, they would make a costume for him.
Yeah.
Big whoopity-doo. So in this movie, I was like, well, okay, maybe in Civil War or whatever, that he gets a costume because he did the television thing.
Yeah.
They're like, no, well, Tony Stark gives him the suit. I'm like, okay, that's cool. And in Spider-Man in Civil War, the suit was just Spider-Man suit.
Yeah.
It had web shooters on the outside.
It worked, yeah.
But he already built the web shooters. Tony Stark just streamlined them.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that's cool. And he's got the goggle eyes. That's great. Now he can emote with the mask on. So sweet. And then we get in this movie, and it's, I got artificial intelligence in it. He's got all this crap.
You've got a drone that comes out the chest.
I've got a drone that comes out of the chest.
I'm totally with you.
I hate that drone. I hate that drone.
I'm totally with you on this one.
And I'm okay with certain stuff.
The suit became a major part of the movie.
And it became comic relief.
Yeah, and to me, I was just like, oh god, we spent so much time on the stupid suit. I agree.
So, and it's a lot. 2/3 of this movie is a suit.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Every action scene is the suit.
It's not about look at the cool stuff the suit can do. It's about what I can do. It became less about what he could do and what the suit could do. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that kind of took it away from me.
Okay, so the defense everyone gives it is so he has artificial intelligence in this suit, like Jarvis was in Iron Man.
Right.
So everyone's like, oh, well, you know why they put that in there is because in the comic books, Spider-Man talks to himself all the time because the yellow caption bubbles.
Yeah.
And they just want to replicate that in this film, so they had to have someone to talk to. So they gave him Karen. And I was like, shut the fuck up. Because if you want to be like the comic books and you have Spider-Man talking to himself, you could have narration. And I was like, well, they don't do narration in Spider-Man in the movies. Yeah, they do. They did in Iron Man 3. That was narrated.
Yeah.
So you could have done that. So we could have gotten a Spider-Man film with narration, which would have been cool. But no, we don't get that. We get him talking to a robot. So we get this Diet Iron Man suit.
Yeah, I don't know. That was one of my major things too. Is I couldn't get into that. It was
And
it just took too much of the movie up.
Yeah,
you know?
a lot of the movies the suit. And I'm okay with certain things. I was okay with the Spider Tracer. I could even live with the audio stuff. Like he could listen on things.
Yeah,
I was okay with the little simple things. It's just the AI.
I hated the fact that, a little spoiler, I hate the fact that it's got the power to look through walls and like radar sensor thing.
Yeah.
Like now he's Daredevil.
Yeah, he's
oh
Daredevil.
my
He
god.
pretty much they gave him Batman, the Batman senses and Batman Arkham games. I was like, really? Like he could see through the walls. There's X-ray stuff. I was like, eh. And also on a story point, like I talked to you about this earlier before we recorded, but plot-wise, it doesn't make sense to me. So it was like, if the film was about, because he's got if you watch the trailers, he gets a suit taken away. So it's a character learning that I need to be the hero without this suit, because he loses it in the last act, which is fine. It's a cool story arc to do. But the suit is such a pain in the ass that it gets him in trouble. It screws up on him all the time. I'm like, so what's when Iron Man's like, I need to take back the suit, in the context of the movie I've been watching, he should be like, yeah, this suit's just a problem. Because I have to constantly come up with excuses so you can't track me in this suit.
Yeah.
All it does, it glitches on me all the time. It is constantly talking to me. It's almost going to reveal my secret identity to people. This thing's a hassle. I don't want this anymore.
Yeah.
But in the movie, he's like, no, but I want the suit back. And I'm like, what? Why would you want that back? It's a piece of shit. It's really screwing with you, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really hate the suit in this film, which is a thing that sucks because it looks great. It looks like Spider-Man.
No, I get you. So overall, as far as like you said, you were pretty devastated with the movie.
Yeah.
I wasn't devastated. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I had a problem with the suit too. Yeah, I agree with you. There were some things I didn't like.
Yeah.
We talked off radar. We talked about how the stupid gun splits the bow and stuff. How they, like you said, the suit and it causes problems. I had problems with that.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed.
How do you feel about the action in this film? Without getting the reels like that, set pieces. How do you feel about this action in comparison? Because we've seen.
It's okay. There's not enough to me. My thing is, there's not enough action. There's not enough of him fighting with people.
Yeah.
It's mostly the suit again and high school.
There's also
stuff.
scenes. This is also where I feel like, did I not see the same movie? There's scenes which just kind of end. Do you remember the sequence where? So I get this will be kind of approaching. Well, spoilers. So you know our points of view. It's a good film.
Right.
I don't think it's great. And
I'm gonna tell you the truth. I enjoyed the film. I don't think it's a great film. I would recommend seeing it if you just, if you're a Marvel fan, go ahead and see it.
if you're a Marvel fan.
And I'll be honest with you, I'd maybe see it on a matinee.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would necessarily pay $20 to go see it, like they cost.
I think I dropped $13 to see it.
Yeah, see, so I'm thinking like if you go with another person, you're talking if you bring a date.
I went cold. I went stag, sir.
Yeah, so
not
and you still paid $13.
Yeah,
so I'm saying I might check it out, but that's how I feel about it. I didn't think it was a great film. It's an enjoyable film.
I think it's the back end of the Marvel universe. If you
I can see that. I can understand that. Yeah. I think it's still better than Thor: Dark World. But
oh yeah, I agree with that. I think maybe better than Incredible Hulk.
Yeah.
And that's probably it. I think that's maybe after that it's probably bottom for everything else. But so spoiler territory. Okay, so he apprehends one of the guns, the alien tech guns.
Right.
And he takes the energy source and he brings it to high school because they look at it in woodshop. This is stuff I like. I like all the high school stuff. Doing stuff in high school is great.
Right.
And then the bad guys show up at the high school because they have a tracking device for the energy signatures.
Right.
Do you remember how Spider-Man gets rid of the bad guys?
No.
Exactly. The scene ends. It just drops. They come into the school and I was like, all right, we're gonna get a cool fight between Spider-Man and the Shocker gang.
Right.
But they walk into the room and they're like, the energy signature says it's supposed to be in here, and Spider-Man's hiding. and they're like, all right, well, it's not here. I guess we just go back to base.
Just give
And
up
the scene
do
just
that.
ends.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait a minute. So
I didn't realize that. Yeah.
the scene ends with, it just ends. So Spider-Man doesn't go, I'm going to apprehend these two guys and then turn them in so they can ID who the Vulture is and then end the movie.
Right.
No, he's just like, I'm just going to stay under this desk for the whole semester. What? What happened to this scene? It just disappeared.
I don't know.
But yeah, back to the action. I just thought everything was... I think actual, like, Spider-Man action, I thought the coolest action sequence was when he was getting his ass kicked by the second Shocker next to the school buses.
Yeah.
And even then, I don't think it comes anywhere close to the action sequences in any of the previous Spider-Man.
No, there's not real good action here. Again, my opinion is there's not a lot of action because you focus so much time on high school and the suit.
Yeah.
It takes up so much time that the action sequences are quick, real
Yeah.
fast, and it's over quick. So
I couldn't see what was going on in that last act, the last fight.
Oh yeah.
I like the setup of it, the plane heist,
Yeah.
and I just couldn't tell what the hell was going
back
on.
to high school. Back to him playing a regular kid. I did like the scene where where the wall falls on him
Yes,
and he panics.
and it sounds
Hey,
terrifying.
Yeah, and he panics like a kid. He's like, "Help! Help!" And he's screaming for help. And he's Spider-Man, and he's screaming for help until he stops and goes, "Get your head on straight." You know, I
Yeah.
love that scene. It's very realistic of what a 15-year-old kid would be like. A wall falls on you and you're trapped.
Yeah, he says, "Come on, Spider-Man!" Like
Yeah.
I think that's probably the second best scene in the whole film.
Yeah, I like that scene. I liked him screaming for help. I thought it was very realistic. So
And you know what I think the first best scene in the whole film is?
what's that?
Is that car ride.
The car ride.
The car ride where with the Vulture's driving him to the dance.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's
That
a
is,
great
I
scene,
think, that is
yeah.
the best scene, and that's the reason why I say, like, man, freaking Michael Keaton just brings
That
it.
is a great tension-filled scene.
Mm.
When the big reveal occurs, and then they're in the car together.
And honestly,
that's
I
really
remember hearing this rumor that this was going to happen, and while watching the film, I'm just like, oh, well, okay, finally he got the suit taken away. Maybe I'm going to start liking this movie more.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, he's going to the dance with Liz, and then he opens the door. I was like, oh, shit, that's right. That I remember that rumor. Holy crap. And the
I
look he
didn't know
gives...
I thought it was going to come out and he was...
Zendaya's dad? Yeah.
I thought too.
I heard that rumor, too.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So.
So,
All right, anything else you want to add about Spider-Man?
it's good. It's okay.
Like I said, it's good. I'll probably buy it.
Yeah.
And it's my
Will you get the one that's the Spider-Man mask with the disc in it?
Oh my god, how much is that going to cost me?
I don't know.
I forgot to mention too, though, the guy who plays Shocker, the second Shocker, by the way, in there, is Bokeem Woodbine.
Mm.
He's been, everybody knows his face. He's been in a bunch of different things. But I'll flash you back to a real movie when he had the Shocker thing on his arm. I was waiting for him to like turn and to go straight chicken. That's what I told him.
Oh no.
Do you remember that movie? With Mark Wahlberg way back in the day.
Yeah.
I was waiting for him to look at that thing and go, "This is awesome. Straight chicken would be great."
Oh, I remember it. Yeah.
If you can remember what movie that is, send me a tweet. I'll give you props.
Yeah. Right in the comments right here. If
You know what? Yeah. If you reply to me on Twitter, I will follow you on Twitter if you can tell me what movie that was from. So,
Oh man, I totally forgot about that. I did not remember that was him.
yeah.